Well, we have been alluding to the analysis of the World Cup squad announcement of the Springboks, where the reigning world champions have won the William Webb Ellis Trophy 3 times. They've failed, though, to do it and defend it twice. And it will be third time lucky for the chosen 33 that will be travelling to France on national duty with one mission: to return with the Holy Grail of Rugby, which is the William Webb Ellis Trophy. Our senior sport reporter, Tando Mxoli, is in Pretoria, and he has a special guest with him who knows all about plotting successful World Cup campaigns. A very good evening to you, Tando. The 33 players have been announced. They will be looking to defend that trophy.
Good evening, Chloe. As you know, rugby has been the talk of the town today. There was a World Cup squad announcement earlier. And as you said in your intro, we've got someone who knows all about plotting big projects. We're at the Blue Bulls Rugby Union Awards. It's an annual awards where they celebrate whatever success they've had in the past year. And as with me, we've got a World Cup winner. Man who's won everywhere he's gone. Good evening, Jake. Interesting night tonight. You basically celebrating the successes of the union, even though there were difficulties. Tell us about the past year.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's every year we have these awards. It's basically to recognise guys who've done well. I suppose you're right. As a union, we probably didn't do as well as we would liked, but we still, won every junior competition. We got to the playoffs of the URC, and obviously made the top 16 and made the playoffs of the Currie Cup. So, yeah, look, as a Bulls supporter, I'm sure they would want us to win everything. But there's been some successful stories with some youngsters, and today, as you see, we've got 4 guys in the Springbok side getting the World Cup. So, yeah, not all doom and gloom for us.
Talking about winning, we've got a team that is basically now on national duty. We saw a lot of chopping and changing and maneuvering at national team level. You've always been a big proponent of everyone working towards a national project. What do you think of the World Cup squad that was picked earlier?
Yeah, look, I mean, you have to plan for, and I'm sure they've planned for the World Cup, and they'll always get these curveballs that come, injuries. I mean, we lost, a guy like Piers Spies on the eve of the World Cup. We, in my World Cup, we lost Jean de Villiers with an injury in the first game. We got Schalk Burger suspended for 2 games. So I think what I'm saying is, that unexpected challenges come along the way anyway. So a lot of talk now about who's been omitted. I think the nice thing about it, everyone knows who's been picked. Players will be confident about going into this World Cup, and they will champion. So, look, I think it's going to be an incredible time going forward now until they leave. Nice bit of hard work, a couple of friendlies, and then into the World Cup in France.
Leadership plays an important part of rugby. There's been the big debate of sometimes the leader might not necessarily be the best in his position, or he might be injured. We've got a unique situation whereby our leader had been playing well, and unfortunately got injured. He's going into this tournament not 100%. What do you do in a situation like that? Do you pick the leader based on form, or do you pick the man who's right for the team?
Well, look, I think every World Cup that's been won has had an incredible captain-coach relationship. You look at Clive Woodward and Martin Johnson, you look at Kitch and Francois, obviously John Smith, myself, Richie McCaw. The reality is you need I read an article this week as well. You need a captain you can trust when the big moments come. And I'm sure the coaching staff of South Africa believe in Sia. You look at a guy like Lukanya, was a vice captain's not going. So a guy like Dwayne Vermeulen's captain the team already. Evans captain the team already. So I think there's enough leadership in that group anyway. That's why I think over the years they've blooded a few new captains. And whether Sia plays every game or whether he's available for the 3rd and 4th game, not the 1st and 2nd. I think the reality is you've got to have your best team on the field after 7 weeks or in the 7th game. So, yeah, look, I'm sure, as I said, leadership, you're quite right, plays an incredible, important role. And I'm sure the guys who picked that team would have covered all those bases.
Jake, we've won this tournament 3 times.
Yes.
We've failed to defend it twice.
Yeah.
We've taken some good teams and they've failed. What is a big pressure moment with the World Cup? Is it the expectation? Is it moments where refs don't go your way? What's the big decision makers?
Yeah, but I think in any international sport, any top level sport, to defend a title is always tough. I mean, you look at where the Wimbledon champions come back and try and do it 2 years in a row. Whether you look at guys who've won the US Open or the British Open, the Open in golf, they come back in the Masters, they try and do it back to back. They can't get it right. So it's not unique. I think it's the reality is when you've won once, then you have a target on your back. And we're not the only nation who've ever gone into the second World Cup and not done well, So, look, it's a different challenge. I mean, when you go the first time, as I said, you know what to expect. You go the second time as champions. I mean, the whole pressure is different. So, but that's why it probably doesn't happen all the time.
A lot of people have said this squad, for example, is full of jack of all trades and very few specialists. You look at the fly of birth, a guy like Manin Libok, very well. Now he's got quite a lot on his shoulders in terms of responsibility. We start off against Scotland, who are a nation on the rise. We've got some interesting fixtures in our group.
Yeah.
And those are the pressure moments, the clutch moments, which basically decides big tournaments. Do we have the right players for that?
Yeah, look, you can never answer that. You'll have to see how the tournament unfolds. I mean, people, Marnie's done incredibly well. 2 years for the Stormers, got to 2 finals, done really well. There's another pressure moment for him, and he's done well in those pressure moments for the Stormers. So, but I think the reality is no team ever gets the perfect 15 or 23 in every weekend game. It's highly unlikely. You look at a guy like Stephen Donald, came in for the All Blacks as their 5th choice fly half, ended up winning the World Cup with a goal kick. So, it's difficult to answer, but you'll only know how good we are when the tournament starts and we see who we've got. A lot of things that change between now and the opening of the World Cup.
Jake, thank you very much for the time. All the best for the upcoming season. I see you've made a lot of number of changes in the coaching department, especially. Yes. But all the best in the upcoming season, and we talk some more trophies next season.
Let's hope so. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Back to you, Toli, in the studio. As we're saying, we're starting the build-up towards the Rugby World Cup. It's a tournament we all believe that we've actually got a realistic chance of winning. So we'll see. We'll see how this one plans out.